Hello everyone, welcome back to College Chronista's Linux command session part 2. In this session we are going to look at directory commands and permission commands. Okay. It's going to be a short video like the previous one. So let's get started. So for people coming from Windows, directories are the equivalents called folders in Windows. Okay, so it is called directories in Linux. Again, the directory structure with the latest distributions in Linux almost mirrors that of Windows right now. Like for example, if you install a program, it will by default go to a particular location in a system, and then all your personal files will be in your home directory. Under home you will have your username, and then a directory by your login name, and then under the login name you would have a Linux folders by for documents, pictures, videos, and other things. Same like Windows. So that structure is being mirrored in Linux also now, because people who develop Linux, they realize that Linux is also being used as a person for personal use, not just at enterprise for development or at a server level, just at server level. So we are the first command, directory command that we are going to learn is pwd, which means present working directory. Okay. So since we work in command, we execute commands and other things, we just want to make sure we are in the right directory where the commands should be executed against. For example, if you want to see the list of files, you just want to make sure that you're currently in the right folder. So you just type pwd and then it shows what folder are you located in. By default, your home directory will be the default working directory. If you want to change it, you can change it using other commands that we will show you now. So if you want to see all the folders and files in the directory, just type ls. Okay, and as we discussed in the previous video, it automatically adds the color switch, so that way it will show what each items with the difference. So we will see that in a demo. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, in Linux, hidden files start with dot. Okay, unlike Windows, anything with dot, anything like if a file has a dot, it doesn't signify an extension actually. Like for example .exe, .dll, these are like just files for Linux. It's not any special type of files. Okay, and then some of the popular switches for the ls are ls-l. Okay, it lists everything in the columns, I guess, and then ls-all with all the which lists all the files including hidden ones, ls-lh -r, and then you can combine multiple switches. Okay, la or h. So try this out and find out what it is stands for. Okay, again the basic use for ls is to list all the files and directories in a directory. Okay. We will also see the permissions in detail, but this is how all the permissions are designed in Linux and Windows. It is D, so it means if the first flag is set to D, it means it is a directory, not a file. Okay, and then as you mentioned, if you type ls-l, if the first letter of the permission denotes D, it's a folder. Okay, and rwx means read, write, execute. Okay, so as you can see, we have that in 3 sets in the first point. So that means there are 3 different groups which require permissions. Okay, the first set denotes the owner of the file or the directory, the person who created it. Okay, is by default the owner of the file or directory. So what permissions do they have? Okay, and sometimes even the owners don't set execute permission for some folders or files. It's because they don't want to run that command or whatever program even by mistake. Okay, so this happens, so that's why we have that permission. The second set is the owner belongs to a group. Okay, or the file you can assign to a group, and that group's permission, the set of users in that group, what can they do with this file. And third set of users, okay, denote permissions for anyone other than anyone who is using the computer, you can assume. Okay, so directories require execute permission for the users to see the list of contents. Okay, so if you want a set of group of users to see the files inside a directory, you have to grant them execute permission. Otherwise, they can't see the files. Okay, so that's very important. And then only when you give execute, they can really execute a program from that folders. Otherwise, they can't really execute anything. The next command is cd, which is the command that you use to change the directory. Okay, so to change to parent directory, you have to do cd space dot dot. Okay, in Windows it's just cd dot dot, but it's here you have to have a space, and then cd dot slash will take you to the root of the file system. Okay, which most people, and there's not much access given to people at a root folder level, so but you can still try to see some folders and contents. And then the next is cd with no arguments will change the current directory to the user's home directory. If you want to go to home directory, just type cd, or you can type the next one, cd space tilde operator, okay, which will also take you to the home directory. And then there is an environment variable used in Linux, $home. You can also use that one, cd $home. That will take you to the home directory. Make dir. Okay, so this is called making the directory, that is creating a new directory in a path that is given or in the present working directory. You have to make sure you are in the right folder before you create a directory, and then you can just say make directory and then give the folder name, and it will create that in that path right away in a present working directory. To create directories with subdirectories, you can always use -p switch, so which knows that it has to create directories recursively, and then it creates these directories in the current directory, documents as v1/requirements. Okay. Remove directory, this will delete a directory, okay, in a path or in the present working directories. Okay, you can again do it, just remove directory and the directory name will delete the directory. If you want to delete the folder with the folder has subfolders, you have to use -p. Okay, and one important point is the directories must be empty. Okay, so it's ideal to use remove directory. I will explain why. Instead of just deleting it, there are other commands to directly delete a directory even though the files are there. So it's the reason I'm saying is because most of the times before we delete a directory, we want to take a backup of the file somewhere. Okay, and if we use remove directory and if that command throws an error, it means we get to think at least saying, hey, there are some files here, have I backed it up? Okay, but if you use the other commands that directly delete the directory, even when files are there, we may not get that mode of thinking. We are busy with our day-to-day work. We may by mistake delete some files, so we don't want to do that. So try to use remove directory. Okay, so that way it will let you know, okay, hey, you either clean the manual files manually, or it will trigger a thought saying, have you backed up these files? Okay, remove command. This command will delete a file or directory in a path or in the present directory, even if it is not empty. Okay, so this is the command I was talking about in the previous slide. So even though there are subdirectories, files in a directory, you can straight away remove them. If you just give remove and then the directory name, it will get deleted. Okay, -r, it will delete them recursively. Okay, so this is the command most people use it, but it's better to use remove directory if you want to delete a directory and then try it. Okay, and one of the very important things, I have marked it in red specifically, don't even try this. Okay, rm-rf slash. Don't try to, you need actual admin permission to do this, but don't execute this command. If you execute it by mistake, it will delete the entire file system on your Linux. Okay, all your files will be gone. So it says remove, okay, recursively all the files from the root directory. That's it. And it will, again, you are an admin, so it will ask you, confirm you whether, hey, do you really want to perform this? And if you say yes, it will go ahead and delete it. So be careful when you use this command. And again, don't use it. I even saw a t-shirt a few weeks ago which said don't drink and sudo rm-rf slash. Permission commands, so it's very simple, just 3 set of commands to start with. Change mode, again, when you download a file or installer or something from internet on Linux, by default it is not executable. Okay, to execute you have to change the permissions. Okay, so the chmod command is the one that you use. Okay, and also you can change the mode to read write for specific user owner group. Okay, so the command that you see in this demo, chmod u-r testfile.txt, it means it is removing the read permission for a user for this file. Okay, and then if you use u-w, it means the user can't write the file. If you use u-x, it means they can't execute a file. To add a permission, you just use plus, and also you can do the same for group and owners. If you want to do it for a group, use g-r or g plus r, chmod g plus r or g-r. If you want to use for a owner, you just use o. Okay, so but at least you will be doing some demos where you have to I'll show you some demos where you have to add execute permission to files by using chmod command. When you download from internet, you have to make them executable, and then you try to do it. Change group. So the file, we can create multiple groups in the Linux server, and then we can assign each group of users some set of files or directories. So for example, you create a new group of users called finance users, and then you want to actually account, you want to assign a file called account.txt to only that group of users. No other group should have access to it. So you just change the group from the admins group to this group. So that's all, and we will see you in the files command session next.